Hello, everybody. This is Football Psych, and I'm Coach Mike.
And it's large. That's large.
All right, the Super Bowl is over. The Super Bowl that nobody wanted to see. We're going to talk about that today, and maybe good old Shaq will join us here. He's running a little bit late. So for all you getting ready to join us now, we've got so much to talk about. We want to talk today about the Super Bowl. We want to talk today about what's the schedule looking like moving forward, and we're going to talk about just where we think the Commanders are going to be moving forward as well. So, make sure you tune in. If you got a buddy, hey, come on and join us. We'd love to hear from you. All right. So we're going to get right into this, Lord Sarge. We want to get right into the Super Bowl here. What were your initial thoughts of this Super Bowl? Don't give me a freaking whole rundown of the whole thing. Just initial thoughts, and then we're going to get into it. Yeah, that was my initial thought, too. This was a Super Bowl nobody wanted, dude.
What do I need to add to that?
I thought it was garbage. A garbage Super Bowl.
All right, now, Coach.
Garbage halftime show.
All right, now, Coach. Calm down.
Garbage.
Come on now. It wasn't garbage.
Garbage.
It wasn't garbage. But
I didn't like it at all, man. What a crappy Super Bowl, man.
It wasn't
garbage.
It wasn't the game we all wanted, right? It wasn't garbage. It wasn't the game we wanted. A nice, competitive, tight game coming down the last minute, maybe over. It was not that. It was a blowout. And you and I and Shaq completely disagree on why that is.
Well, first of all,
completely as we initially thought.
Well, I'm the one that's always right. So let's just get that out of the
way. Wait. Yeah, props, Coach. You're always right, man.
So here's my take on the game, and then I'm going to let you say yours. But to me, this all came down to defense. We all know that when you get to playoff football, defense wins championships. And this is a classic. If you want film study of a classic example of how defense wins championships, this was a game that you could pull out. Like, nobody's going to remember the Super Bowl unless the coach wants to pull out an example of how defense wins championships.
Yeah.
But let's an example of that. Other than that, throw the film away. It was garbage.
Yeah, well.
But you disagree with that, Lord Sarge?
Yeah, I disagree. Very frankly speaking, it's the number one defense, right? So
number one defense.
And you know what? They proved it. I don't know because I didn't look up the stats, but I don't think there's ever been a Super Bowl ever where there wasn't one blitz called on defense.
They blitzed.
No, they did not.
Yes,
they did not. There was not a single blitz by the Eagles. That front four destroyed Kansas City without a single blitz. That's the story of the defense, how good they were, right?
But so I will say it was an extraordinary game plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you know that your front four is that powerful, which they demonstrated, right? And they had it. And you could drop everybody else back in coverage. There's no lanes for Patrick Mahomes to throw the ball. There's nowhere for him to throw.
Yep.
So, I will have to give a huge clap to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I've never given any defense claps before, but I've got to give the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles huge credit.
Yeah, call it a great game plan. You just can't. And they outplayed them on the field, right?
Yeah, and you cannot ask for a better defensive game plan. What's up, Jack? Thanks for joining us, brother. So, you can't ask for a better defensive game plan when you're going up against the two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, right? If you're going in there and you're like, I got to take on this giant, I am telling you, huge props.
Yeah.
To the Philadelphia defense.
Yep. So
my next bullet, though, is I'm hugely disappointed, though, that I didn't get a Taylor Swift crying moment. We showed them at the beginning of the game, like Taylor Swift. I guess she got booed. Let's go ahead and play that.
Come on, she got booed. It's almost the
same thing. So
look at the look on her face.
We gotta do it.
Look at the look on her face. Look at the sideways eye. Is that for me? No way. Oh my God, they're pulling me.
Yeah. They're booing you. Yes, they're booing you. And you gotta love that. I will tell you, I do not like Philadelphia Eagles fans because they're so nasty and rowdy. But I gotta appreciate the fact that they just flat out booed her. They just flat. I gotta love that, man. I don't ever remember a celebrity ever in the history of all Super Bowls to get booed. Taylor Swift, you own the record.
I'm telling you. And you know what? This channel is not political. We're not going to get political. But President Trump was the first president to ever show up at a Super Bowl, and he only got cheers. And Taylor Swift, who came out against him, got booed. I love it.
Oh my God!
I'm not putting up Trump. I'm just saying that's the fact. That's what happened on the field.
I don't want to get political either, but Taylor Swift's had a bad run because she's the past month. Kamala Harris did not get elected, and her boyfriend did not win the Super Bowl. He's had a rough month.
I got to do. Wait, let me get a close up. I got to do replay. This is Taylor Swift. You make the boo sound.
Boo.
That was Taylor Swift.
That was Taylor Swift, man. Hold on, I gotta play it again, man. It's too good. It's too good not to play. Hold on. Yeah, we're booing you.
That was pretty loud.
That is really, really loud, man.
Taylor Swift gets booed at the Super Bowl. What the hell?
She paid a whole lot of money to show up there and to get booed.
Oh man, poor girl.
So the only thing I could say is that to me, there was only one thing I could give Kansas City credit for. Like the only thing that they did right was they had a game plan for Saquon Barkley.
Did they ever?
I mean, I got to give it to them for that. But outside of that, they had nothing going on.
Yeah. I mean, Jalen was leading rusher. What? Who would have thought that in this game, that Jalen was going to be the leading rusher for Philly?
He was. He was the leading rusher. And speaking of Jalen Hurts, I think he played an amazing game. 17 of 22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. But he also had 11 rushes for 72 yards and another touchdown. So that's 3 touchdowns on the day. And when he was rushing, 6.55 yard per carry average.
Crazy. He played a very pedestrian game. He took advantage of what Kansas City's defense gave him, and then he had that one insane over-the-top throw. And I thought the game was going to open with Dotson, of all people. I thought that was a catch. It was going in for the touchdown. I was like crapping my pants.
The former commander.
Yeah, like Dotson's going to get a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Not only that, but what he has that our commanders don't have is he's got a Super Bowl ring now.
Yeah, he does.
Good old Jahan Dotson. We cut him.
What a good move on his part, huh?
Hey, sometimes you can fall up, right?
Yep.
That was him. He fell up.
Jack says he was booing Taylor too.
Keep going, Jack.
My God.
I think we were all booing Taylor Swift.
So Coach Mad Mike, I am gonna agree to disagree with you.
Okay.
Now, I will not poo-poo on what you said here. What you said here is exactly correct. And the fact that defensive front line was so good and put so many pressures and 6 sacks on Mahomes is not to be disputed. Okay, it's not to be disputed. That certainly was the game changer. But I'll tell you something. It was Mahomes that threw the game. And that first half, they got through, and instead of Mahomes playing smart pocket ball and throwing the ball away when he was pressured and didn't have anything open, he tried to scramble. He tried to razzle-dazzle and do his thing. And Philly's defense is too fast, right? When he tried to razzle-dazzle and not play smart quarterback football and throw it away and just take the down loss, they lost yardage. He also put his players in a position where they had to hold, costing them penalties because he was rambling around trying to get something going. as evidenced by the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, where all of a sudden, miracle of miracles, the Chiefs figured out, why don't we just roll him out of the pressure and give him some lanes? And all of a sudden, people started catching balls. And they moved down the field, very pedestrian, and got some scores. That call should have been made after the first series, my personal opinion. Maybe give them the second series. You adjust that on the field going, oh, crap, we can't stop the front line. So we need to get him out of the pocket and create lanes for him and allow him to get away from the pressure. They didn't do it. They didn't do it till well after halftime. So I hate to say this, Andy Reid is my favorite coach of all time. He literally blew it.
So you're right. I completely and utterly disagree with you.
Okay.
So here's number one. You're right. He stayed in the pocket until it was time for him to scramble. When you're in the pocket, guess what? You can't throw the ball away because that's intentional grounding. If you try to roll them out, yeah, they were very, very fast and they were getting them to the outside. There were no lanes. The first time that he did that with the pressure coming on him, he threw a pick six.
Yep.
And I'm going to show you that pick six right now because to me, it was one of the plays of the game.
I told you.
Rolling to the outside.
Intercepted. Picked up by Cooper DeJean. Gets a block. DeJean
Amazing. Cooper DeJean.
That's what happens when you roll to the outside against a very, very fast defense. You need to see it again. So, like, I will tell you, when he did roll out, lanes were not open. When he did roll out, he threw a pick six. When he stayed in the pocket, he was getting pressured and you can't throw the ball away. When at moments he did try to roll out, he did try to throw the ball away a couple of times. Other times he was trying to make some kind of yardage because there really was no yardage to gain.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it didn't matter. It didn't matter if he was passing or if he was trying to hand the ball off. There really wasn't a lot going on. Again, this is a defensive performance that's like defensive wins championships.
Yeah, I can't argue that. They were all over it. I mean, they called it a great game and they had the right players. And since the Chiefs sold out, to stop Barkley, that left, a very good quarterback open to run the ball at will because no one could spy him. They were spying on Barkley. And you've got two great receivers. I mean, and Goddard. Goddard had not a great game, but he made plays when they counted. He got them first downs, So there was just too much going on with Philly and the level of play that they had. And I just don't think, even if the Chiefs had the perfect game plan and they were able to give Mahomes a bit more time, all those drops in the first quarter, I couldn't believe, like literally in hands and the balls dropped. I was stupefied. I was like, seriously? There was 3 drops in the first quarter that I was just sitting there going, what on earth is going on?
And I will tell you that the Eagles beat them so bad that this scoreboard doesn't even do it justice.
Yeah. Because
the Chiefs made a lot of points in the fourth quarter in garbage time.
Yeah, that was the Eagles giving it to them.
This game was over. The Chiefs did not score until 34 seconds left in the third quarter.
Yep.
I knew within the first drive of the Chiefs when they didn't score,
they're in trouble.
I was like, this game's over. I texted you guys already, you and Shaq already. It's like, this game's already over.
Yep.
They did not score until 34 seconds left of it, where they should have scored 34 seconds into the second half.
Yep.
And all these points, when they were starting lighting up early, man, they were basically playing a very, very soft defense. And this was like, hey, we've already got the game won. We're not out here trying to make the Chiefs look bad. Go ahead and get your little score here, get your little score there. This game was over. Yeah. Like after the first series of halftime. Many people will say it was over at halftime. But if you thought that they were going to come back, determined after the first series.
As soon as Philly went up 10 points, I was like, nope. I at that particular point, I was like, nope. There is no momentum. They're not going to get the momentum. And then it's 17-0. I was like, okay, the game's done. This is before halftime. At halftime, there was no question in my mind. You're not going to come back 24 points on a team playing King. I mean, how what kind of adjustments could you make at 24-0 to come back? It's only happened one time, and that was the Patriots versus Atlanta. Remember that Super Bowl?
Yep.
Where Atlanta just completely punished them, and somehow, some way, they found a way to miracle win that game. I mean, that's a long shot. And the Kansas City Chiefs have been one score on half their games this year away at the last second. And Philly almost beat them 2 years ago. Philly's a much better team this time around, right?
Oh yeah, way better team. I mean, and they're built right. Like they have the chance, scarily, to become a dynasty with this defense, and that's scary to me because obviously we don't want that in our division. But Jack brought up a very interesting thing, and appreciate the comment. The head referee was the same referee that was the sideline referee when it was us versus Philly, and I did not really like how that game was completely called, and I actually think he messed up a few times at the beginning of this game. There's a play that went both one to one side, one to the other side, so it was kind of a wash. Yeah. But like the first quarter started off like not great refereeing. It cleaned up, but it started off a little rough.
Yeah, that offensive pass interference, I was like, he didn't grab that face mask. That was like, come on, guys, let him play ball, you know. And then the clear bat on the face of Mahomes that should have been called, and it wasn't. So I saw it as like, you know what, it was a wash. There was no ultra super, let's call New York critical ref calls. Thank gosh. But still, the Chiefs' wires lit up about, oh, this was about the refs. And one of the ex-Chiefs was online today talking about, this game could have been different if the refs didn't call against us. Now, it wasn't. Guys, you played bad. You just played bad. You had the wrong game plan. You didn't address how good that defense was, and you just didn't have it in the tank. Let's be honest. They didn't have it in the tank.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, like, one of the things that I think moving forward, like, one of the things I want to see is, I'm not sure I completely agree on the one play about hitting the guy's face mask. I think it's one that the competition committee needs to look at, because I play DB, and DB is an extremely hard position to play. And if you're trying to catch up to a receiver, and he's basically stiff arming you by putting his facing your face mask, you don't really have any shot at catching that.
You think that was a good call, that one?
I do, because you should not be allowed as a receiver to practically stiff arm somebody before the ball gets there in order to make the catch.
Good point. I didn't see enough contact in it to warrant it. It was kind of like a brush. I was like, okay, if you're calling strictly by the rules, okay, fine. But I mean, it's a Super Bowl. Let him play.
An extended arm where you're basically, I can't get it all into the camera, but like an extended arm where you're basically on the guy's face mask in order to get that arm's distance in order to make a catch. To me, that's just not fair for a DB. I know it's a passing league, and they don't care about DBs in the league, but DBs have a tough job, man.
Yeah.
Trying to cover some of these receivers. And Brown is nearly impossible to cover anyway. Give the guy a break.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted to bring up here. I got to share a screen here on this.
How many yards does Saquon have at the end of the day? 60, 70?
Look it up. It was less than 72 because that's what Jalen Hurts had, and he ran less. I think it was like 67.
Yeah, he had like 18, 19 carries for nothing.
So I want to share my screen here. I want to go over here. We're currently on the Commanders website here, and one of the things that they're putting out there is the schedule. We talked about this last year, Large Sarge. There is never a day off in the NFL.
That's right.
There is never a day off. They literally had the Super Bowl yesterday. Guess what today starts? You see it right here.
Mm-hmm.
February 10th. You see my mouse moving, by the way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. February 10th, the waiver system begins. Now, what the waiver system basically is in this particular, when you're in the free agency period is for those players who have less than 4 years. They're basically rookies on the rookie deal. They're very, very junior players. If a team cuts them during this time, right, and says, listen, you're not going to be the future of our team, there is a waiver period that begins. That is obviously the draft order that's projected in this coming April's draft, right? So that's what it is. It actually starts today. But this is really an evaluation period. There's another thing that we have, and it is a lot of these teams are getting ready for these small little bowl games and combines that are going on in the latter March of February, heading to the NFL combine, which is crazy to think about it, but we are literally 2 weeks away from the NFL combine.
From it starting all over again. Hey, Coach, just educate me here because, I'm just a fan.
Well, you should be more than a fan by now. But
what's HBCU stand for?
That's a historically black college university.
Ah, I thought it was halfback cut under.
No.
Historically black college university combine. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so that allows
and they got a legacy bowl. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it allows some of those really, really small historically black colleges to get looks. I don't know why we still do that. Honestly, I don't want to be racial about it because I'm not a racial person. But is there not enough black football players in the NFL or something? What is that about?
Yeah.
I think it's about trying to get some of the smaller schools looked at. But if that's the case, why don't you just make it a legacy or a combine for small schools?
Or small schools across the board, yeah.
I don't understand why we feel like we have to have
Samoa is not represented.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get it, honestly. But okay, we have that. And so then we get to the NFL combine, which is where the real players end up, right? And that's going to start February 24th and go through March 3rd. I want to show that because it's not very long. And, you're right back into it. And then by March 12th, as you see down here, the new league starts, right? And so that's when free agency kicks off. The tampering period starts, or they're no longer calling it tampering period. They call it the negotiating period now.
Oh, now it's negotiating period. Okay.
Which is the 10th through the 12th. You can start negotiating players.
That's right around the corner. I mean, that's nothing. We're going to be blowing bubbles on a cruise. The next thing we get off the boat, get back on land. It's already time.
It's already time, man, and things are going to be happening. So it's a really interesting time to kind of look at all of that, right?
Yeah.
The next thing you know, it comes April, and we're back into all the preseason stuff again, right? In the midst of all this, coming here at the end of this month, starts the UFL. So there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on because there's a lot of these backup and third string guys who didn't get playing time this year that will sign contracts with the UFL to get playing time and reps. It's a scouting dreams, heaven.
Absolutely.
Because you can go in there and really scout players and go, yep, he ain't what I thought it was going to be. Yep. Or you can go and go, you know what, I got a 90-man roster spot for this kid. I'm going to sign this kid, right? So it gives you a chance to go find some of those guys.
Yep. So Jack is in there talking about the old tush push. Jack, they're not going to ban it because it's illegal play. It's not going to happen. They're going to allow it. But I'll be honest with you. I don't know why any team is worried about the tush push anymore because it's the easiest play to defeat. And everyone's like, what are you talking about, Large Sarge? Well, what I'm talking about is my high school in Germany. When I was playing quarterback and then I was playing middle linebacker on defense, and they put me up against, that drill where they put you up to see if you can tackle the running back, where you got a little lane between, the dummies and everyone's around you cheering, seeing who can hit the running back. So this guy was literally 1.5 feet taller than me, the number one running back, and they put my little scrawny little butt in there. And I was like, ain't no way I'm popping this guy. There's no way. So I used my head. And you know what I did? He came at me with head down, and I just stood up and pushed his shoulder pads down, jumped right over him, put his face in the ground, had grass all in his face. The coach is like, Dadgummit, Chittle Decker. What did you do? I was like, I tackled him, coach. Everyone was laughing and cheering. And they're going, well, you can't do that. I was like, why not? And that's all you need to do on tush push. Everyone's getting down so low. Have the defensive lineman stand up. And as soon as that ball is hiked, jump on the shoulder pads, push him down, take him out, take him completely out, and then have your linebackers come in and then pop the quarterback. That's all you need to do to beat the tush push. They don't know how to do it. I need to be a coach. I'm telling you it works. I know from personal experience in high school football because I did it.
Okay. Well, I will tell you, nobody seemed to stop the Philadelphia Eagles this year. And that play that they did, the tush push, it worked. Jack brings up a very interesting point. Like, we will have the owners meet and the competition committee will also meet. And they look at this. They're going to look at plays that happen throughout the season and what do they want to do. They're going to reevaluate whether or not they want to keep the kickoff rule the way that it is.
Jack. He's here.
Yeah, appreciate Jack. But, they'll also, now we have 1 year of the new kickoff rules under our belt. Do we want to keep it? Do we want to change it back? Do we, there's going to be a lot of things come up this year about rule changes like there is every year.
Coach Man Mike, bring Shaq on. We need the Shaq attack. He's there.
He's there? Where is he?
He's there. I see him. He's in the waiting room. Bring him in.
Waiting room. Let me bring him on.
Hey. Listen, I was in the background long enough to hear Lawrence Saul's nonsense about the tush push. I've been sitting in the back room. I've been sitting in the back room for about like 5-6 minutes now.
That ain't no nonsense. That's what I did. I put his face in the ground. He couldn't go anywhere. And they said it was illegal. In 1978.
That was a long time ago.
I wasn't Large Sarge. I was skinny, scrawny Sarge back then. And I put down a guy 3 heads over me, 40 pounds higher than me. The tush push is nothing. If you know how to put a guy down in the dirt, they're so low that you just stand up and put him in the dirt, let the linebackers take him out.
Lou had a plan too.
Yes. That was a good
That's
plan.
right. Lou had a plan.
But you know what? I watched Discovery Channel,
Uh-huh.
and there was a whole Discovery Channel with a nuclear physicist talking about football and how come you cannot beat the tush push because of gravity and connection to the ground.
So
and force of gravity and connection to the ground, like when you launch yourself in the air and not connected to the earth, so you don't have mass equals force equals. Some of you physics professors out there know this. Basic physics, mass equals force equals, whatever the hell that formula is. When you leave the ground, you lose mass. So that doesn't work.
So I'm gonna tell you, I'm
push the line into the ground so they lose all of their mass, and then you take your linebackers and you punch them in the face.
And you know what's crazy though, Lars Sarge? There are teams that have stopped the tush push this year. Green Bay has stopped it. Detroit has stopped it. Houston has stopped it. Dallas has stopped it. Their teams that have stopped the tush push this year.
All right, everyone watching out there, I need to know what you think. Everyone watching, we got 6 people on, our 6 favorite people in the world. I need to see you in the comments. Do you agree or disagree that tush push needs to be legal or it needs to be banned? What do you 6 people and anyone else who is not logged in but might be watching, what do you think? Put it in the comments.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why the play is not going anywhere, Lars Sarge, because the NFL is starting to go back to a ground central league now. Before we was pass first.
Yeah,
that pass first. Now the NFL starting to bounce out. We starting to see surges of Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon had a good year. You know what I'm saying? The running backs were eating this year, so we're starting to see a shift back to the ground game.
So, Shaq, let me ask you a question. And, Coach, this is coming to you too, okay? If Philadelphia can do the tush push, why hasn't every team adopted it? Why? Why do they own the license on a tush push?
Let me tackle that one. It is a copycat league. Believe me, 31 other teams are going to learn the tush push this offseason. It's going to happen. It takes time to put it together and coordinate it and get the timing down and work it. Believe me, this is the same thing as the Wildcat. This is the same thing as every other freaking thing that's come along in the league. For every action, there's an equal opposite reaction to it, and it's a copycat league. Believe me, everybody will have the tush push unless the NFL looks at banning it.
I only saw two other teams do it this year. Only 2 other teams, and this has been around for 3 years.
Hand raised.
Go ahead, Jay.
Mariota. We had a similar kind of play with tush push this year where Mariota got 2 first downs with a similar kind of play this year. So where he was pushed by linemen, running backs, and tight ends to get across the line. It's been adopted.
It's a little bit of like a rugby scrum in a way.
Right.
But like there'll be okay, so like right now, the offense has the advantage. Believe me, there are defensive coordinators that are dissecting these films and going like, how in the flip do I stop that? There'll be workshops. There'll be like special defensive lineman practices and everything else like that on finding ways to stop it. Some teams have adopted it already. Some teams are a little bit better at defending against it. But, it'll be interesting. Will the NFL ban it or not? I don't know. With it, though.
Now, I'm going to tell you this, though. Also, we're acting like this play is new. They was using this play in the 80s, in the 70s and the 80s. We act like this play is new. Right. Like the Bears used it. The Bears used it. Like there are teams that went to the Super Bowl that were using this play. We act like this is a new play. It's not a new play. It's just a resurgence of it.
Yeah. You all ever see those videos on Discovery Channel about how the Earth has different tectonic plates and one plate subducts under the other plate? It's the same thing. It's the easiest thing to stop. The offensive line is the one that's going underneath, and all you need to do is push them down. Push them down. When you push them down, they can't go forward if they're down, and then your linebackers are free to bust them in the face. That's all it takes. Why can't they figure that out?
All right. I don't think
they can't figure it out.
I don't think it's that easy, Lars, but okay.
It's easy. I did it in 1978.
Okay, living in the glory days. Al Bundy.
Al Bundy.
Bush defensive coordinator. That will be my job.
You also scored 4 touchdowns in one football game in high school.
Al Bundy.
I scored 1 on a busted play. I screwed up a fumble and had to roll around the end. Nobody told me with the ball, so I got to sneak it in. And my dad was the coach, and I was so happy. I went to tackle him, put my head down, put my helmet into his balls. And he bent over. I broke his balls. And my dad's on the sideline doing this. And he's like happy his son scored a touchdown. He's like, I can't stand up. True story.
A trip down memory lane.
We don't like
never forget that. He was never so angry and happy with me at the same time.
All right, so I do want to say for those fans that are out there, by next week, what I want to try to do is I kind of want to get our rosters out, and I want to highlight those positions of those guys that are due to lose their contract. We kind of went over this a little bit before, but I actually want to see it on paper.
Yeah.
I think I might even take a little bit of time throughout the week to do it for everybody in NFC East, just to kind of do it, because I'm very interested, like moving forward. Like right now, I think Philadelphia on paper moving forward is looking extremely strong. But I'm very curious on what their free agency situation looked like and what holes that they had, because I don't think there's a lot of them. And so I really want to see it, though, and I want to show the fans to do it. So you're going to want to bring all your Cowboys fans around. You're going to want to bring all your Giants fans around, and all your Eagles guys who are on Cloud 9 around, and have them join our show. And let's talk it out.
I don't think the Eagles are going to lose any coaching staff this year, are they?
No, Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is going to coach the Saints.
That's right.
He's going to catch the Saints.
And then, that's a big one. Okay.
Now, they do have 3 players that three notable players on their defense that are most notably Zach Bond is going to be a free agent this year, but they're going to extend him long term, right?
Yeah.
So they have some guys on their defense that they're going to leave. They have a nice young core.
Very competitive for the bowl next year.
Yeah. They have a nice young core, offense and defense.
Coach Mad Mike, what do you think Schottenheimer Jr. or grandson or whoever the heck he is going to do in Dallas? Anything?
I think the main thing he's going to have to do is try to lock up Micah Parsons long term. And then I don't think that they're going to have a lot of cap space really to play with, which is going to be an interesting situation for them. Like right now, I got the Cowboys. Let me see if I can find them. I had them $2.8 million over the cap. So they are not in a very good position right now. And Micah Parsons, he's already made it known that he would like to remain a Cowboy for life, which is bad news to me because I actually want him over on the Commanders.
Oh my God.
I want him traded to us.
Yeah.
But like they want to lock him up long term. But we knew this. He signed CeeDee Lamb. He signed not Micah Parsons, but
quarterback
Dak Prescott. I know that they have a lot of free agents because I know
DeMarcus Lawrence is going to walk. Yeah,
DeMarcus Lawrence is probably going to walk, and so like this is going to be a bad situation. So Schottenheimer coming in his team is coming in and doesn't have any cap space to do anything with.
And I can tell you, they just somebody finally took the OC job that Ken Dorsey's going in. So they've been interviewing people. They've been trying to bring people in, but nobody wants that job. I don't know. I don't know if it's
anyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's people don't want to deal with Jerry Jones or they have no confidence in Schottenheimer and his coaching abilities. So but Ken Dorsey finally took it.
All right, now bless you, coach.
Bless you.
All right, now everyone heard the news. Aaron Jones is on the market. Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, Aaron Jones. What am I talking about? Aaron Rodgers is on the market. And guess where one of the teams they think he could land could be?
Not us.
The Giants in our division. That could be interesting.
I said that yesterday, though. I said, remember.
You did, Shaq. Absolutely.
I was like, the Giants could use them. Tennessee could use them. There are teams that could use them. Carolina could use them. There are teams that could use them.
You're right, Shaq.
The Raiders, even the Saints right now.
The Raiders, it was Giants 1 and Raiders 2, what I saw on the news.
Yeah. So
could be Aaron Rodgers on the Giants could be interesting. But we thought he would be interesting with the Jets, and he was kind of like a
yeah, and if he signs with the Giants, he doesn't even have to move.
Yeah. Which after he gets done doing what was he doing this past summer? He was over doing psychedelics. After he gets done with his psychedelics this offseason.
That dude does a whole lot of psychedelic stuff, man.
I mean, he might be all right, you know. But whoever's going to get him is going to get a decent quarterback. I mean, he's good. You know what I mean? It's not like he's not good, but after all that stuff with getting Devontae Adams over with him and everything, now Devontae's alone going, where's Rodgers?
No, so this is the thing right here, though, right, man? Everybody's not Brady, right? So Aaron Rodgers looked 40 this year. Everybody's not Brady, right? Brady's a vegan, a strict dietary regimens, workout regimen, stuff like
Brady's
this.
A freak of nature, man.
You're a freak of nature. Aaron Rodgers sitting around drinking beers and eating pizza. Like they're two different kind of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Beer, pizza, pizza.
Yeah.
Rum.
Hey, you know, one thing that I want to make sure that we get heavy into in this offseason, how the guys that we have who contracts need to be restructured. Lattimore, Allen, some of these guys is getting paid money that I don't feel like it's worth the money. And we want to bring more people in.
Yeah, the restructuring, though, usually ends up making the player makes more money, though. And so by stretching it out. So, that's one where we would have to, be careful with because the question is like when I look at their ages and their time to decline, you could actually end up overpaying somebody in the long term and then taking a serious cap hit later, which I wouldn't want to see us being in a position of doing. If we have doubts or we have something like Lattimore, do we really want to stretch $36 million out and end up paying him more money because he's due $18 million a year for the next 2 years.
That's overpaid St. Juice.
Yeah, we know where you are there, which tells me we need to go ahead and let him go.
So,
right?
Coach, do you see Wagner sticking?
I do. I see him.
Do you see Luvu sticking?
Luvu's on contract. He ain't going nowhere.
4 years. 4 years.
Do you see Lattimore sticking?
That's a tough one because we could actually free up $18 million more of salary cap space if we cut him without no cap hit, because we traded him with the Saints and we didn't give up a lot for him.
That's
so like you either think he is your number one corner and that he's going to have some resurgence to his career at this point, or you believe nope, he's lost a step and it's time to go ahead and let him go because he's not worth $18 million. That would say he's ready to go.
He's ready to go. Every real number one, that's what I'm saying. Every one real number one receiver that he played this year tore him apart.
That's true.
Every single one.
It's
right? And I'm gonna tell you, not only if we let him walk, I will be fine with it.
Man, but you guys were so happy when we got him. He's our savior. And now you're
Listen,
saying let him walk?
let him walk.
You guys.
So like I think one, we got him hurt.
Yeah.
2, there was a scheme issue. Like it was just an off year for him. So like the questions is going to be, and I don't have the ability to evaluate him, right? So the question's going to be with our coaching staff, our scouting department, everything else like that, is do you believe that he can get it back in this? If he has a full off season and he's healthy and you develop him with the team, you work with him on the scheme, do you believe he still has the ability at this point in his career to have it back? Because you don't want we've let a lot of talent just walk out the door.
Yeah,
we did.
Team. So we got to be sure about somebody like this, because you can't just go out there and get a number one corner. But even though so then you got to go and you got to need more than one, because we're not very deep at corner.
Yeah.
We got Sanistrell. Who else do we have?
Nobody. Well, I'm going to go counter to both of you. We're keeping Lattimore. He's in.
Well, that's
He's
not
going to
counter.
learn the schemes.
I
He's
said
going
we got to evaluate.
He's going to work with the team. He's going to learn the schemes. He's going to get healthy in the offseason. He's a player. We need his experience in the locker room. He needs to bring up, our other people. We're keeping him.
Well, and we're talking big name cuts on the defense. Him, John Allen. Don't be surprised if we cut or trade Marshawn Lattimore. Like I said, got my general manager hat on for some picks in the draft, or we let John Allen walk. We trade or cut John Allen because John Allen's due a lot of money this year too.
So, Coach, you're more familiar with the Allen thing. He's been very vocal against the team and the decisions they made. What do you think after this season? Is he a player or is he a trade?
I think he's back in better graces. I mean, in past years, he's really crapped on his team, and rightfully so. We weren't winning, and he wanted to win. This year, I think he likes the direction that the team's going, but he started to either declining or he was just having an off year this year, and it's going to be harder. I kind of agree with what Shaq's saying. It's going to be harder to justify the money.
That's right.
If he's not ready to go, because I do like keeping 3 powerful defensive tackles, and I don't mind keeping Dron Payne, Johnny Newton, and Jonathan Allen. But you got to be sure about him. You can't he's a starter if he's not.
Now, hear me out though on this one. This is why I say it's easier for we can either let him walk, we could trade him for picks, or so we could trade him or let him walk. And I'm gonna tell you why. After he was injured, Johnny Newton filled in that gap, and all the others filled in that gap, and we went on a winning streak without him.
Yep, we did. You're right, Shaq. You're right. we filled that gap.
We filled the gap.
And Newton's a hell of a lot cheaper. He's a hell of a lot cheaper. Yeah, you got a point.
So I think the big thing about this is for the 2025 season, he is still on contract. and he's due $15.5 million. So that means, and if we were to cut him, he would count as $6 million in dead cap space. So we basically saved $9 million.
$6 million, okay, to get 9, okay.
So you got to take that into consideration. If we're going to trade, so I wouldn't be a fan of just cutting him with that kind of cap penalty.
Right.
But if you trade him for draft picks, I would be a little bit more susceptible to doing that. Especially if you wanted to free up the $9 million in the salary cap space to go for a predominant, and I mean a dominant edge rusher.
Yeah.
Hear me out. I was about to say it. You beat me to it. You beat me to it. And you beat me to it. I was about to say we trade him to Cleveland for Myles Garrett. We sent him up there, did him in a pick for Myles Garrett. And the wheels are turning. The wheels are turning.
Come on now.
Didn't I see any news? Did I see?
I would do it, actually. I would do it for Myles Garrett.
And Myles Garrett was actually interested in coming to the Commanders. Didn't I see that on the news?
Yeah.
He is.
Did anybody else out there, all 7 of you, see anything about Garrett coming to the Commanders?
He interested.
Because he's interested in going to somewhere where he believes that they can win. And there's a lot of buzz around our team this year. Like, there's a lot of players out there that look at this team and like, whoa. There's a lot going on in Washington right now.
All of a sudden, people want to come to Washington, which is a good thing for Washington.
It's people want to come to Washington. The only downside of that is if you're afraid of the Eagles.
Yeah.
Man.
But, we want to rebuild, and, we got to rebuild to play against them. Going back to that cornerback situation, we've got to be able to have corners that can stay with receivers in this division.
Yeah. And, I mean, Philadelphia showed us the path, right?
Look, and I'm not going to lie. Like, if you look at the rest of the NFC East, we're the only team that didn't improve in the receiver department. Like, we did not improve at all. The Giants improved. The Cowboys improved. You know what I'm saying? Philadelphia drastically improved, even with them and Jahan Dotson. You know what I'm saying? Like, they improved. We the only team that did not improve in that position.
It's true. Like, I do believe that we need an edge rusher badly. We definitely need corners. We definitely need a receiver. We need somebody opposite Terry McLaurin. We need a real threat. And there's going to be a lot of receiver talk in this offseason. This is going to be a wide receiver heavy offseason.
All right, Coach.
Remember last year? Hold on, real quick. Remember last year when everybody was like, they had the big old running back carousel? I think it's going to be a wide receiver carousel this year.
Oh, mark it down, everyone. Mark it down. Coach is calling.
There's a whole lot of wide receivers.
Oh,
whole lot of wide receivers going all over the place.
Seriously, we're 29th in the first round. 29th.
Yep.
You think we trade up? What do you think is our number one priority? Number one priority in the draft. If you don't trade up at 29, what do you take? Too early.
I haven't looked at the draft class deep enough. I need to start looking and start analyzing this draft class a little bit deeper. Have you got into it, Shaq?
I have, and I would say, of course, man. I be sending y'all stuff all throughout the week because I'm always looking. No, I was going to say James Pierce, Tennessee edge rusher. We either take him in the first round, or we take Alabama has an offensive lineman. Ohio State has an offensive lineman that's coming in highly touted. That's going to be available. So either offensive lineman or we take James Pierce as the edge.
Tackle.
Yeah.
We need an offensive line.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have no run game. I will tell you, we will not, before I would fix my defense.
Yeah, but I will tell you, we will not trade up in the first round.
No.
It won't happen.
So that's a prediction. We will not trade up to pick somebody.
It's almost a guarantee.
Okay.
It's not going to happen. We're not going to trade up.
That's a great call. All right. No. We're going to remember this.
No. We're not going to trade up. I'm going to tell you why we're not going to trade up, right? We have 5 picks this year, or whatever the case may be. We're going to be hot and heavy in free agency. There's going to be a lot of players out here looking for.
Yeah,
they want to come here. They will take $4 million for 2 years, $6 million for 2 years, take a year. They want to come in. You know what I'm saying? So before, this was a place where you go, where your career, you get a payday and your career comes to die. It's not like that here in DC anymore.
Yep.
Nope.
Well, that's at least a perception.
Yep.
So
I agree. It's going to be it's going to be a really hot.
Now y'all was talking about receivers, right? Now receivers,
there's a lot out there.
T. Higgins, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin.
Cooper's not leaving. He's at home in Tennessee. He's not leaving.
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon leaving, you think?
He's on free agent coming up. He's on the free agent list.
Yeah, but you think he's not going to resign?
He probably will. DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown.
Either one of those coming to us would be insanity.
Yep, Darius Slayton.
this is a wide receiver market, man.
Because I'm telling you, every receiver out there is looking at what quarterback can I link up with where I can catch some balls and make some records, right?
Yep. Look,
at my chest. And Jim Daniels is that guy, right? He's the hot hand, right? It could happen.
Look, Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson.
You know what? I'm down on Keenan.
Yeah.
Watching this whole season with him being.
Now I'm gonna tell you this guy right here. I believe we should have went after him during the season. Deontay Johnson. So Deontay Johnson was a stud in Carolina. When they traded him to Baltimore, I was surprised. But then he got up there and got the cutting up. I believe if him and Kingsbury scheme, he will be a perfect fit on the other side of Terry McLaurin. Deontay Johnson's the guy that we really need to. Yeah, I firmly believe Deontay Johnson's the guy that we need to be looking. That we need to keep our eyes on in the offseason.
Wow,
because he's going to come.
That's a really interesting call, Shaq.
He's going to come. He's going to come at a cheap price. He's going to come at a very, very cheap price.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, that's an interesting call.
And after all of the issues he had in Baltimore, he just wanted to show he still belongs in the league. So I can see Deontay Johnson as one of the guys that we focus on to help bolster our receiver room. He's a good receiver.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yep.
I wouldn't have thought that came out of you, Shaq. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson.
What do you think, Coach? What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think it's interesting. It's going to be one to watch. It really kind of, to me, it boils down to like terms and conditions of a contract, right? And I want to be able to look at it a little bit more. But like, I agree. I don't, as far as wide receivers, having there's going to be quite a few that want to come here. They're going to want to come just because of the quarterback situation. They know that they can get targets. They know that they can do it, especially a guy who might have been like released from a team or not and still has something to prove. You come here and go like, listen, if someone had given me the ball, I could have put up numbers. Believe me, every wide receiver thinks that way.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like the only reason why you let me go is because I didn't make the numbers you did, but you didn't have somebody to give me the ball.
Right.
So now you go like, I'll prove to you. Send me somewhere where he's telling his agent, give me somewhere where someone will give me the ball.
Perfect YR attitude right there. Saying we need a tall guy. I agree with him. We need someone with reach. I want to see a 6'9" wide receiver. With speed. Speed. Maybe not, the best, but 4'5", 4'6", and 6'9", and skinny. But Daniels can just go like this and throw the ball in the end zone, and he catches it.
Well,
Lawrence Sargent's world, man.
Yeah, Lawrence Sargent's world. The push into the head in the dirt and this.
Yeah.
You need a tall receiver. Jack is right. You need somebody with reach that can jump up for the ball in the end zone. You need
6'9" though,
and tall and fat. Dead skinny, wearing quarterback pads. He's so skinny. He's never going to block anyone. He's just going to streak on your butt and get in the end zone and catch the ball at 8 foot high in the air.
We'll turn that into the scouting department, but I don't know if that guy exists.
No, he's in. If he does, he's in the NBA for sure.
Yeah, that's right. He's not in the NFL.
Yes, I agree with Jack 100%. I agree. McLaurin's getting up there in age. Yep. Coach Mad Mike was right about that. So, if there are some marquee wide receivers in free agency, we need to actually bring one in to either back up McLaurin or be that solid number 2 to take over number 1 while we're still looking for a new rookie number 1, right?
So there are a lot of good receivers coming out in college this year. There are a ton of them. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think 5 or 6 are projected to get drafted in the first round. So there are a lot of receivers coming out.
And you don't think we're going to trade up? Interesting.
Because we don't have the capital to trade up.
Well, and then
what do you mean? Yeah, we
don't have the capital to trade up.
Now I'm gonna tell you why we're not. I said because at first I said we should trade him to get Abdul Carter, but they got him going number 1. 3 mock drafts, they have him going number 1. We're not going to get him, right?
No.
So
we can trade a whole draft class and still not get there.
It's still not get to him, right? So with that being said, everything that we have a deficiency on that we need is going to be there at our draft spot. Offensive lineman, defensive line, stuff like that. It's going to be there. Jack Sawyer is going to be there. You know what I'm saying? James Pierce is going to be there. They're going to be offensive linemen there at that position.
Jack is saying there's a guy from Iowa State that looks good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right,
Jack, but good call.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to really look at some of these ones, and as the weeks go by, we're going to really get into the college stuff and our mock drafts and all that stuff like that. I had a really good mock draft last year. I did better than any analyst out there.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You were the boss last year.
I don't know how I don't have 5 million people watching this show, because I had a better draft than any analyst out there. Anyone. I beat them all. So, we just got to keep things going on this show, and I can't wait to get Shaq involved in that process.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
So
gentlemen, here's what I tell you. Listen, we just got done talking about the Super Bowl, right? And how defense wins championships.
It does.
So if that is the mantra, then we need to sell our soul to build a defense this year. Because we have an offense. But the problem is we got so many holes. We got no run game. Just like the Chiefs had no run game.
Hey, you know what, though?
Philadelphia had a run game, and they had the game plan so hard against it, they left open the passing game because there wasn't no choice.
Well,
and
no,
the defense was insane. That's what we need is a monster defense. We need a hog squad back.
Lars, I blame that on Andy Reid play calling because they took the run off.
I agree.
They took the run off the table. You had Pacheco and Kareem Hunt ready to go.
The few runs they had were pretty good.
Pacheco, when he was given the ball, he did well with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He got away from it.
So was it them or was it the play caller? And another running back. I said we should have. I said this during the season when we was looking for running backs in the free agency. We should have bought Kareem Hunt in. I said it during the season. He's going to be a free. He's going to be a free.
Good.
He's going to be a free agent this offseason. He's going to be a free agent.
He is, and he's going to want to hit free agency and go somewhere else because he didn't get the ball very often.
So that's right. Do you think we're going to hold on to our running back core this year, Coach?
No.
Eckler's out.
He's still under contract.
Robinson's out.
No, Robinson's under contract.
Okay, well, but you still think 3 and 4 are gone.
Yeah, we said this. We said this last week. Rodriguez and McNichols, they're both gone.
They're gone.
They're going to be gone.
Interesting.
We're going to bring other guys in. There's going to be other guys out there. We want to get them in there. And
how many picks do we have, Shaq? 5 this year.
5.
Only 5 picks.
5.
Yeah, that's why I say we don't have the capital to move up.
Yep.
So we're going to stay where we're at.
Yeah, you're right. Free agency is going to be the ticket, right? We're going to do a 1 year, sign a deal, win a Super Bowl team.
Well, that's what we did last year.
Bargain shopping.
We were like the Lions, basically.
Bargain shopping.
And there is nothing wrong with taking the Belichick approach. He looked for pedestrian players that just loved the game, and it was effective for him. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have the best receiver core. They had the best line. They protected Brady.
Yeah.
Defenses was never top tier defenses. You know what I'm saying? Except for like when they had Teddy Bruschi won a couple times.
I mean, they had players. But
but
it was never the top.
They took a pedestrian approach. Hey, let's go out here. Let's get this guy for $800,000. Let's get this guy for $2 million. Blah blah blah.
But people would come and play for less because they believe they give them a chance at a ring and they get a chance to play with Tom Brady.
That's right.
Right. And so we're almost kind of being a little bit of attractive like that. Come with the nice young Jaden. This team is hot. We got things going on here. The culture's changed. This is where it's kind of like the latest buzz. So like, there's going to be some guys that are going to go, you know what? Especially guys like you call them pedestrian. I call them guys that are trying to show that they still have it. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, hey, like my team let me go because they think I don't still have it, but the situation wasn't right there. I need a change of environment, and I want to prove, which is like what our coaching staff loves. They love guys who want to prove something, right? I want to prove I still got it, right? That just kind of fits our culture. A bunch of hungry guys that want to have something to prove.
And then I'm curious. I'm curious to see how they're gonna handle this offseason. But like there are guys. I'm talking about there are guys right now that on people waiver wise or people that know they're not gonna be on a roster next year. Like, well, this team is winning. Teams is appealing like that. Houston is appealing. Young team is appealing. Detroit is a young team. Washington, these are young teams that are appealing to people right now. That Denver, a young team, appealing to people.
Denver's going to be dangerous next year.
The Chargers.
Denver's going to be dangerous.
Yep. So these young teams are appealing to people right now. You about to start seeing people shift away from these long time winning teams like Kansas City, New England, like stuff like you already seen the shift in New England, right?
Yeah, I think Kansas City doesn't make. I'm throwing it out. I'm just throwing it out there. Kansas City ain't going to make the playoffs next year.
What?
I'm not going to say that.
I am.
I think they're going to make the playoffs. I just don't. But, it'll be interesting to watch and see how they rebuild. I mean, don't put nothing past Andy Reid. Andy Reid's not going nowhere.
Yeah, they're not making the playoffs next year.
No. I would say this. They will, because of how the conference is the strength of the conference is now. I will say this. You think Sean Payton ain't got something up his sleeve for next year? Or, you know what I'm saying? LA don't got nothing up his sleeve? I will say this.
They're not going to make the playoffs next year.
No, hear me out. Hear me out. They're going to make the playoffs, but they're not going to win the conference. They're not going to win the AFC West. They're not going to win the AFC West next year.
Yeah. I mean, that can very well be. I think there's a greater probability that Taylor Swift and Kelsey break up than the Chiefs not making it to the playoffs.
Thank you. I would, thank you.
Oh yeah, Jack said he brought that up too. Us getting a new stadium, like everything is appealing about DC right now, right?
Man,
new quarterback,
so much stuff in the air.
New quarterback, new buzz. We won 12 games this year. The team looks good. We know everybody knows where our weaknesses are. That's why Myles Garrett's like Washington. Cooper Kupp is like Washington. Hey, these guys would miss a skill players.
If we got Cooper Kupp, now I know he is an injury monster. I get it, right? I get it. But nonetheless, that threat is there. And Myles Garrett, holy moly.
Even if we brought DeMarcus Lawrence over, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like it's appetizing here, right? Everybody knows that we're on the up and up.
Build an insane defense, and DQ is a defensive guy.
Yes, and we need to take advantage of this now, right? If
Lawrence.
We have to take advantage of this now. I'm gonna tell you why. Again, Dan Quinn is only good for 1.5 seasons. We know this for a fact. Two, we're going to start next year. We have another winning season like we had this year. Next year, say we win 10 or 11 games next year, right? We make it to the playoffs again. Kingsbury is gone the following year. We're going to lose our OC. He's going to take people with him. You feel what I'm saying?
Right, high chance, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to.
I'm calling the same for next year. 9 games and a chance for the playoffs. That's all I'm calling.
I mean, you think about the same thing that's going on in Detroit. We win a bunch of games. We make it to divisions again. Oh, we make it to the second round of playoffs.
Yeah, Detroit's gonna fall on its face this year.
Joe Witt's gonna be gone. Kingsbury be gone. These guys gonna be looking for head coaching positions.
Yeah.
So we gotta take advantage of it now, and now is the time. That's why it's so appealing now. Like we're setting up to win now.
I don't think Joe Witt's going to go anywhere for a while.
Yeah, I think he's locked in, right?
But
he's locked in.
He's just too junior as a coach in his coaching career. So, but Kingsbury's looking for that second head coaching job because, a lot of these coaches, when they get fired as a head coach and they go back to be coordinators, they usually end up getting a second head coaching job at some point.
Yeah.
You screw that up, usually done in the league.
Kingsbury makes the playoffs this year. He's got a head coaching job lined up.
Yeah, someone's going to start looking.
Someone's going to need one and going to make.
Especially when Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson's are off the table this year. Next year I don't know. It could be slim pickings.
Well, I can tell you right now, if McDaniels is still out there as an offensive coordinator, if Kingsbury walks, he's a suitable replacement. They're guys.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a good point.
So. Yeah, it'll be very interesting. All right, guys. Well, that's our show for tonight. We have got so much to prepare for next week because we're going to kind of break some of these rosters down and get ready for things going. So good to be talking to you guys. Thanks, Jack, Jim, all the other watchers that were on. Hey, if you're watching, make sure you participate. This is Football Psych, baby, and we are out of here.
Yeah.